Welcome back to Top Dogs. My name is FictionBoi.
I'm Stream ArcaDad.
I'm Whiplash Wolf.
Why you have to say so seductively? I can't. Seductively. Okay,
All the time, always seductively. Why do you have to do that? That's what you want to say?
Okay, and today's episode is about virtual reality and you. So, there's many things to discuss about.
Hey, the guest.
I forgot he was sitting in your lap.
Oh my god, how dare you forget him?
I'll just see myself out.
Blue,
then,
come
I
here.
guess.
No,
I'll
you
just
come
see
here.
myself
Come back. Come back.
Hey.
There's a reason why. Okay. For the longest time, he was in your abdomen, and I didn't see you from my peripheral.
You were giving me head pets earlier.
Fiction's mistake.
I was giving you head pets earlier, but I didn't know you were in his abdomen. I couldn't see you.
To fix Fiction's
Okay,
mistake.
puppy, come here. Sit on my lap. I'll take care of you.
Welcome.
You're fine.
Our
You're
guest.
fine. There you go.
Welcome our guest.
Blue.
How dare you?
The one virtual gamer.
Nope. If you want to
Yeah,
growl at
one
me,
VR
that's not going to
gamer.
do anything.
Well, welcome. Let's give
protect us.
VR gamer a warm welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming on.
Mistake.
So just
I can't believe
just
this is
say
how
your
you treat
name.
your guests. Wow.
Just say your
fiction.
name and tell what's your role on the Top Dogs podcast crew.
We already did mention what his role on the Top Dogs. We
Okay.
mentioned it in the last episode. Yes, he is one of our video editors.
See, I haven't been on, so I didn't even realize that. But it's nice meeting you finally.
Yes, hello.
Yes, it's good seeing you
Hello.
again too.
You're smaller in person.
Well, I'm
Ooh,
only 5.
Shots fired.
Well, I am small. I'm 5'8". This is why I go to the gym, so I can toss people around like that.
Ooh.
Good luck tossing.
I mean,
Good like tossing.
throw short people months with like last month, so you're kind of a little late for that.
Huh? Yeah, it's fine. I pick up taller people anyways.
So, we're going to say that there is many things to know about virtual reality. And sometimes it's knowing the hardware, sometimes it is knowing the software. There is sometimes games built around it. There is sometimes people who make art with it. People make worlds, people make avatars. There's a lot of things that go into virtual reality. But, we're going to start up with some simple questions about everything. So, let's start out with this. What VR headset do you use?
I use the Valve Index.
And be
along
sure
with
to
it-
discuss the pros and cons as well to it.
So, I use the Valve Index. From what I can see, like, I've had my Index since February of last year, and it's been fine. I've actually really never had any issues with it. Now, the one thing I do have an issue with is the tether. The tether actually connects it to the PC. I had to buy one already, and it's $120 for it, the cord itself. And then my dog chewed through it, another one, and I had to buy another one. They're just expensive to buy. So it's $240 just on cables alone for the Index. And honestly, on the Index, you have a face cover that, heat is supposed to escape from it. I have a aftermarket, little fan thing that turns on. Is it on right now?
Oh, that's what we hear.
It is. No, it's not. Well, it's on the front of my headset, so it possibly could be. It's to blow heat out to,
Okay.
make it, last longer. But otherwise, it's perfectly fine, honestly. I've actually really never had any issues. Now, there's, on the Index, sometimes you get, what's that called? When you get just start moving. I can't remember what it's called right now.
I have that
Valve
problem.
Index knuckles.
The drift. No, you get drift.
the
yeah.
drifts.
Stick drift. Stick drift.
Yeah.
There we go. You get that sometimes. But, I mean, I've never, besides the tether cords, I've never had really a big issue with my headset. It's been really good.
Okay. I would say I also have a Valve Index. There is many things that you can do. There is many options. Like, for example, you can adjust if you find a little thing to slide underneath the index itself where you can adjust the distance between the lenses. And it goes up from like 58 millimeters to 70 millimeters, whatever you're comfortable with. The other cool thing is that that the Oculus lacks, which is like when you want to remove it, there is a knob that you can twist to pull it off. So you're not damaging it. That's also a cool thing. I would say the material that, keeps our head is very comfortable to have. And what another thing could be another thing is that you also have this this cover, which I like to call sunglasses. But usually you can plug other things in there. You can plug other things in there. I have never, messed with that feature just yet, but I plan to sometime in the future. And the cool benefit of the audio that you use is that it's surround sound. And the most annoying thing about the Oculus is that when you hear sound, it's not that great. It's also kind of irritating. And I always found the Oculus Rift, when you put it on, it kind of makes your scalp itch. So it's cool to also have the movable audio speakers in your headset, and you can adjust it to take it off without breaking it. I would say that the con of this is that it is very expensive. You have to put a lot of money down on the table for it to get something like this. And if they're very fragile. Yes, and the cable sucks. If you ever see this little bulge of the cable that's connected to the headset, I hate that. It does not look secure to me. I believe Valve could have done a little bit better with that cable security, because it bulges out, and that's not good, because that can cause a lot of problems with cables. And another thing,
I was gonna say, on mine, I have this aftermarket little leather thing that goes around the back side of the index. So I have the wire going from the side over here all the way to the back, so it actually comes down on my right side. So it still isn't in your way, but it's much more secured in place, honestly. But what else was it? There was something else with the index, and oh wait, no, it's not that. So this face cover hides a USB port pretty much, and you can put anything in there from what I have, which is a miniature fan setup, or since Vive and Index do kind of collab together on some things, you can buy Vive's face tracking, or not face tracking, but their mouth
facial
tracking.
tracker.
Yeah, facial tracker. It actually can attach to your index, but you have to also buy a 3D printed little stick-on thing for it, because it doesn't fit the index, because it wasn't made for it. But it will work with the index.
the other issue with the index is that you definitely need base stations for this to work. Unlike the Oculus, you don't need to worry about that. But with the index, that is its limit, and that's what's unfortunate about it. The other cool feature that I can tell you is that the Oculus Rift does not have compared to the index controls, that you're able to move your fingers individually. I would say the problem is that when you're moving your fingers, is when you sweat a lot, your fingers don't really always extend when you want them to.
It's very true. But I will say, the main problem to me is the cable. It gets in your way, and there are things where you can buy aftermarket wise where it can get out of your way. You can hang stuff from the roof, keeping the cable out of your way and such. But it will always crinkle up, even when you try your best not to. And it's expensive to replace.
So me, for the headset I'm using a Vive Pro, and I'm using the wireless adapter because I cannot stand wires. I used to have a Rift CV1, which I still have, and I love this thing. The tracking was solid, the headset was light, the microphone was great, the audio was really good. Very fun headset. I still have mine and I love it. It's super accurate for shooter games. The Vive Pro, the only reason why I have it, and it's the only reason, is one, it's compatible to do wireless, which I'm doing right now. Two, it is built like a tank. I did a backflip in VR. I have a zero gravity harness, and I did a backflip, and my headset shot across the room perfectly fine, nothing broken. The cons of it: a lot of your sweet spot inside your lens is probably 50% of the whole image. So I did the Gear VR lens mod to get almost 90% of that, focus correct. The audio of the headphones is okay, but probably not really good. So I've actually modified it and soldered wire, and I installed Philips SPH 9500 open back headphones. Sounds amazing. And the microphone quality is probably one of the worst I've ever seen, and it's common on all the Vive headsets. Even the Vive Pro 2, the Cosmos, shitty audio. So what I'm using right now is I'm using the Razer Siren Mini, which is a super compact desk microphone, hooked up the USB-C port of the headset. What really sucks about this headset is I was planning to use the facial interface, but when you go wireless, that USB port bandwidth is cut in half, and it's not enough to fully cover this microphone and even less the facial tracker. So Vive, I don't really recommend it to people unless you want to go wireless and you want something that is solid. The index is very fragile on certain things, so that knob in the back, don't crank it down, because I've seen those springs pop out at the front so often. But otherwise, I've been rocking this headset for like a year and a half now, and the way it is modified right now, I love this thing. It's great. The image quality is good, and I get decent field of view. And the wireless is nice.
With the index.
I always thought the Vive Pro would be a little bit more heavier than the Index, because it does put a strain on your neck. From what I've heard from other reviews.
I've never tried an index, actually. A what?
Is there a Bluetooth adapter for the index?
Ooh, Bluetooth? What do you want it for?
No, like a Bluetooth adapter. Actually, no, it wouldn't work that way. Never mind. It wouldn't work that way.
No.
Okay.
So the Vive Pro uses a wireless adapter that uses 60 gigahertz frequency. It's insanely fast. And I have zero latency at all. Like, I don't even notice. What about you, Blue? What headset are you rocking? Because I know that's a really good. It's a subject you're passionate about.
Yes, very much so. So I got the Quest 2. I think it's a little obvious because the microphone quality is very different from the other high-end headsets that you guys have. At least I noticed that when I'm editing, I'm like, oh wow, that's my microphone? Jesus Christ. Because
you have to realize you're going through VRChat compression as well.
No, yeah. But it wasn't this bad on my good old Rift S, which I will say was better than this Quest 2. Because right out of the box, Quest 2 had more issues than I was hoping for. But I mean, it's alright. The hand tracking is pretty cool, at least.
Mm-hmm. They're good for the controllers. I gotta give it to them. Quests and Oculus controllers, they're really good. I like.
Oh yeah,
those.
The Quest 2 controllers seems a little bit like limited. If I'm correct, Blue, let me know. Like you can only maybe extend certain amount of fingers.
2 fingers and top.
Yeah, but the issue, at least for me, right out of the box, it had drift. Like, first I had it on, I was like, not like it's drifting away, but the joystick drift, it was really bad. Which was funny, because that's an issue that developed on my Rift S. But that was like later on, that wasn't out of the box. So I already had the solution. It was just a quick spray of mass sensor cleaner. I sprayed it on, and then, it's now working. But I don't think you should be shipping with issues like that,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it should be shipped like that.
Well, let me ask you, I wanted to ask you, if it already came with a drip, didn't you return it back to the store?
No, because this was a gift from me. So the person who gave it to me, I told them, and then they put in a ticket, and we're still waiting to hear something from support. Which I will say, their support group is not, their support group's not really that, good.
Okay, sadly. I'm going to ask you a question, and this one will be interesting to ask, Blue. Give us a little history about VR technology and the major companies involved in the early stages, like HTC, Meta, and Valve.
Oh, huzzah. So here's a fun fact. I don't know if you know. I think I told Stream, a few years ago, I did a high school project on this, actually. I had a whole PowerPoint presentation about the history of VR. From its beginning, so it was at, I think it was 2019. So if we're starting at like the very, very beginning, it's basically, I think it was like 1838. Hold on. Yeah, 1838. So this is inventor way back when, where you have two mirrors and two images, where you put your. Can I grab a pen? Can I do that? It's hard to explain what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'll go get the pen.
I'll go
Give me a
grab
second.
Okay. Oh, there they go.
Can everyone's grab one?
What color?
Red, I
Gay.
guess.
Oh, I want to say rainbow.
Yeah, the gay pen. No, yeah, the gay pencil, please.
Okay, fine.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Jesus.
The gay pen. We got to have a gay pen.
I'm literally drawing one thing. I just want to draw. So he made a device where it's like you have two mirrors that are angled, and then on like at some distance you have the left side of an image, and then you have the right side of an image, and you'd put your eyes right between the mirrors, and then that effect would cause it to look like a 3D image somehow. I don't know how it works, but apparently that is how it works, and the guy got a bunch of awards and whatnot. And that was really like the first existing iteration of quote-unquote VR technology they can go back to. But the more popular one, or the one that everyone knows, is the 1935 novel. It was the something spectacles, Pygmalion Spectacles. And it's basically like, hold on. That one VR film, I already forgot the name of. Ready Player One. It's basically, yeah, it was good. I loved it. It was basically like Ready Player One, but you know, not as it is now with all your game references and whatnot. But it's basically glasses you put on and it takes you to a whole different world.
Okay. Do you
I'm
believe
gonna
that
go with this.
Well, I will ask you this just to add more to the question for you. Let's say, how far do you think we can take VR technology? Based on
At
your
some
own
point-
opinions.
At some point, you can call it VR if you want to, but at some point, no, you know what? No. I guess
Gonna become
because
like-
I'm thinking, I'm thinking of something like out of Sword Art Online, where it's like the Neuralink, where it's you put your brain into the game or whatever. It's not you're looking at it through a lens or whatnot.
No,
I
like
think
Elon
we can
Musk.
get
working on the Neuralink or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or like Cyberpunk 2077, where they have the brain dances.
Yeah,
I think
something
they're,
like that.
I think to make the Neuralink, they're working on it. They need wires that are so thin, and they found out that they're probably going to use carbon nanotubes. They're so thin but conductive, and they're like super tiny.
I feel like VR, VR is going to hit a point in its time where it's going to become like you're there pretty much. It won't be soon, but it will be happening at least. It's going to be coming to a point. I mean, we see how fast technology has grown. Like, let's think from like 2000 to 2020. Like, in that 20-year time span, like how much technology grew more over those 20 years than it did like the 50 years prior to it.
I think at one point, VR is not going to be even about having in a headset, because we're going to reach a plateau like we're reaching right now with cell phones. There's probably going to be something like Neuralink, where you're going to directly interface with the server, or if we go the Star Trek route, will be holodecks, where you can simulate environments and physical touch and physical objects. And I think the days that holodecks are going to come out, I think a lot of furries are going to have fun with these.
like how
So bad.
Google tried to do Google Glass, where you can have everything just in your eyesight, pretty much.
Yeah.
That
There was a few episodes of that in The Mirror on Netflix.
Ooh. It's just so interesting to see how like much technology has like involved. Like, I'm curious what the next iteration of VR headsets is going to be, because I mean, yes, we have the Metaverse Facebook or Metaverse Quest. Where is the MetaQuest? Is that what it's called? The expensive one.
MetaQuest.
MetaQuest 2. Oh, the expensive one. It's the
MetaQuest Pro.
Yeah, that one. But I'm not like really worried about that one. I'm like more worried about like what Vive has in stock, or what index or Valve has in stock for the next index. Like, because this has been out for what, 3 years now? These headsets, and the Vive's been out for what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah. I can give you a hint already what's Valve has coming up, but a headset and the Steam Deck was the beginning.
Ooh.
Yep.
I do like the Steam Deck too, actually. The Steam Deck is a better Switch in my opinion.
No. So the Steam Deck is going to be incorporated in the next headset, or have a 60 gigahertz wireless adapter. That's when people are speculating.
Oh.
I want the adapter. I will buy it. I will buy it.
Yeah, same. Guys, you
if
have
they
no
actually-
idea what it's like to play wireless VR. It's amazing. And I try to put my tether back on my ceiling in my garage. I couldn't stand it. The moment you want to sit down or you want to lay, you feel the wire tugging on the back of your headset, and it's so annoying. I can't do this.
No, I can't. I'm tired of it too, honestly. But it'll be cool because, like, here's my thing is, if they released Half-Life Alyx with the first index, that means they're gonna release another one when the next index comes out. That's what I'm interested in, because I want another Half-Life game. I will say, that's one thing about, if you buy the index, you do get Half-Life Alyx for free, because they specifically made that game for the index.
When I bought my Knuckles used, my Valve Index controllers, I got them used off like Facebook Marketplace, and when I set them up, they say, "Oh, you can now download Half-Life for free." I'm like, really? Like, I got those like secondhand controllers, and I got the game for free. That was a great deal. I'm really happy.
And by the way, if you've never watched a playthrough of Half-Life or played it yourself, it's worth it, honestly. Like, it's such a good Half-Life game. I'm glad they actually never lost their touch on Half-Life series.
Yeah, it's a AAA game for sure.
I mean, I will say about Half-Life. Yes,
No, I just wanted you to speak. Go ahead.
I will say about another Half-Life game. Recently, a mod group came out and they did a whole VR version for, I think it was Half-Life 2. So you can play Half-Life 2 in VR the same way you would play Half-Life Alyx. And apparently reviews are pretty good. Minus the vehicles portions, because vehicles and VR just don't mix at the moment.
They really don't.
Yeah, the motion sickness is real.
Well, the only way to actually play racing games in VR is actually have a simulator setup with like the steering wheel and maybe a shifter if you have it, and the pedals down there. That's the only way to do it at the moment.
Yeah, because your brain doesn't understand what's going on.
Because trying to grab like a steering wheel in VR the latency is super there still.
I mean, yeah, especially a Half-Life 2 vehicle specifically. I mean, I think we all know how those vehicles were, and then just putting that. Yeah, the raft. Trying to drive that in VR. Oh lord.
The only thing I'm mad about like Half-Life.
I was gonna say we're gonna have to move on with the question, which is, what do you like most about VR technology, and also what do you hate most about VR technology? And I would say the biggest thing I wish that can be improved on is the latency, because we have a tendency of cutting each other off, and we don't mean it. It just happens.
We do.
But I would say the cool thing is, what I do love about it is that we're able to communicate in a different way, just like how we normally would in real life, but the difference is it's just in virtual reality.
Exactly.
What about you, Blue?
Ooh, I'm gonna watch this.
There's a lot of things I can say here. What I like the most? That it's very different versus you looking at a screen, pressing buttons. Technically you still are, but you're like actually there. You're actually interacting with the environment with your own movements of your hands. You can like look anywhere you want, touch anything you want, almost play any game you want. Like there's a little bit of everything for everybody, especially in VRC. If there's like something you can't find in a game store, you'll probably find it here. Something I don't like though, that's a hard one. I'm very, like, I guess pro VR. I don't know what to call it. I love VR. I love everything about it. I guess the one thing I hate is that how expensive it can be.
Yep.
Very true.
Specifically,
Addiction as well is a problem with VR.
It is.
Escaping your own reality is not always healthy.
No,
well, I
it
mean,
is not.
it can be used as a therapy. I will say that because Google, back when they actually used VR for PTSD therapy for soldiers who went to Vietnam. So I mean, it can be addicting, but it can also be help some people.
It could be interesting to see some specialists and the psychologists who use this as a way to communicate with their patients.
I will say, I did watch something on TikTok the other day where they had this like mother like have a VR headset on, and apparently they actually brought her, well, it was past child back to life to actually so she can experience her loved one more time since they had died. It was so sad to see. Like, holy crap, it was heartbreaking. But that's how like VR is getting, is you can get to that point.
I think VR is a bit like alcohol. Like, it's always better with moderation. If you do too much of it, it's not good for you. Just like the right amount is nice. But what I like about VR is for people that have disabilities. I have a few friends in situations like that, where when they're stuck in a wheelchair or they can't move about, they can do stuff, they can actually put a headset on and socialize, go in clubs, explore the world, and find alternatives. But I know people that have like perfectly like healthy bodies and they spend all their time in VR, and I feel sad for them because they're missing out on great things. VR is nice, it's great, but don't forget what's out there. The earth is a beautiful place. There's beautiful people, and yeah, it's fun to be able to hang out in VR, but nothing beats a good old physical hug.
That's true.
Amen.
Very true. But for some people at the moment, a virtual hug also helps them out at the moment. That's the one good thing about VR, honestly.
Get your hug right now, because you're a good boy.
And also,
boy.
VR does definitely help making friends too, honestly. I will say that.
Yes.
Even if you're the introverted type, you'll find friends on here.
Well, it gives them security because if they don't feel good, they can log off whenever they want.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true.
What upcoming headsets or technologies regarding VR are you excited about? We'll go with Blue again.
If you asked me this like a month ago, I would have said the Pico Neo 3 because that's an incredible headset. The fact that it directly competes with the Quest 2 and it has quite a few better specs than it, I would have said that. But since that's out, I'm gonna have to say the Valve Deckard, the next Valve headset. I'm pretty excited for that, even though we know barely anything about it. I'm pretty excited for it because it's Valve, and what they have done recently, at least in technology, is everyone loves it.
Wasn't the Valve that's technically a prototype for their next headset?
I remember hearing something about that, but I honestly do not remember. I mean, it sold well, it did well, so they knew Valve finally found their market after not with other hardware that I don't want to talk about because I didn't like it.
What about you, Stream?
So what Valve is actually going to come up with, I'm really excited for that, but there's this other company that we don't hear about, and it's called Vario, and they've been making like high grade, high resolution enterprise grade headsets, and they had like the XR2 and the AR2, which was like you would put this headset on and it would completely blur the lines between reality and virtual reality, and there was like a mixed reality mode with it, with cameras with accurate like camera positions. But recently they've released the Vario Aero, and it has less specs, so it doesn't have those cameras to do XR or AR, but it still has like 2 screens. Each eye has a resolution of 2880 by 2070 something per eye, and then there's HD screens in the middle for your focal point, so it has like 2 displays with prisms inside. Like this one is actually a lot cheaper. It's $2,000, but it does not include controllers, no base stations, no microphones, no headphones. It's just the headset. The other one before, the AR2, XR2, I think it's like $3,000 or $5,000, and you got to buy a 1.5K subscription a year to use it. But they made one for the prosumer. I would love to try it at some point. I should try the Index. I haven't tried it yet.
$1,500 a year.
What about you, Whiplash?
Yeah.
You obviously know who.
If I remember correctly, please check it below. Don't quote me.
I mean,
Also, Whiplash, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, whatever Vive and Valve have in, store for VR. I mean, I don't keep up with it much, honestly, but I didn't even know that the new, they had a next generation, they already had, brought some light to it about what it was. I didn't even know it was called the Valve Deckard, honestly. That's an interesting name. But you just say it's going to integrate, the Steam Deck and the new Index itself, or whatever it may be called. And for everyone else, it's called the Index 2. Okay. Why not? But, I mean, what was it? Another thing about how expensive VR is? It really is. VR is fun, especially with the Index and Vive, but you also need a gaming PC to run it. You also need a PC desk. You need usually 2 or 3 monitors. You need places to put base. It's like a $7,000-8,000 setup, honestly, at this point.
You know what's funny? The Vario headsets, they require 2 display ports to function.
Really?
Good
It's
thing
insane. They got 4 screens in that. 2 screens per eye.
I want to also point out that we since you mentioned this, because that's a lot of money. So I'm going to ask if someone was to start out using VR, what recommendation or advice would you give? And I'll say one thing right off the bat real quick, because I think I need to point this out. VR is not for everybody. And if you're not sure whether or not you will like VR or not, get the cheapest option, which is the Quest 2, and see if you like it or not. Don't invest in so much money into a headset if you're not going to use it, because you're going to be wasting your money.
Yes, because honestly, you might have motion sickness. You might not know that until you get into VR. You will get it quite often if you're in VR, trust me. There are some people who have it and then work their way through it, but you don't want to make that bet. You don't want to spend all this money and then, you find out you have this and then it just sits there collecting dust because you can't. Your brain is just playing with you pretty much. But I'll say another thing about expensive is tracking. Tracking is
gotta love our foot trackings.
And this is for each one,
wiggle beans.
I'm not sure how much they are now, but when I bought mine, it was $300 for 3 of them, or it's $330 with shipping. So that's
400
also added on. Yeah, it's also added on to
base
your
stations
Valve
too.
Well, they come with the index.
No. I'm saying, well, yes, but the thing is that if you do not have working base stations, your trackers are not going to work regardless. You need base stations.
And also, if you really get into VR, getting extra base stations is a must-need, honestly.
I got 3, and I want to buy a 4th one.
I want to buy 2 more, but you get 2 from the index. You get 2, so usually you just put them diagonally from each other so they can keep track of you. But if you want continuous tracking, you'll get another 2 or 3, so you can have a pentagram of motion tracking, so you can never lose.
Lasers.
Yeah. Exactly.
What about you,
quick
Blue?
advice.
I want to bring up your point on tracking being expensive. There have been recent developments, at least in the past few months, of companies coming out with cheaper tracking solutions. One of which being Flame VR, which is
Oh, never
No,
mind.
not well. Tundra, I guess, is kind of a good example of that, but not really for what I'm gonna say. Although they're like $30 cheaper than your Vive 3.0s, and they have about the same specs. But for cheaper tracking, there's other companies. I forget most of their names, but one of them that I did use is Slime VR, which they have their own like DIY page that you can make your own trackers, which will be a hell of a lot cheaper. Because they don't require base stations, you don't have to buy trackers. You can make them yourselves, or you can buy off of them. Which either way, it'll be like hundreds of dollars cheaper, because they have IMU sensors. So you calibrate as you would, and then you're basically ready to go.
The only thing though is they tend to drift over time, and the Slime VR kit, I think you need a 3D printer, or you can get parts pre-printed, and there might be some soldering required. Because I know there's another company that made like a full outfit, and they're black boxes, and they're compatible with the Quest by Bluetooth.
Well, that's if you do the DIY kit. They have pre-made kits, so you just buy it from them, and then like you're ready to go.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. So we're gonna start off with the question of the week. What makes you excited for VR technologies? And also, audience, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to be updated for our latest videos, you click on the notification bell. It will alert you to every video and pretty much notifies you. Also, be sure to there goes Whiplash again.
Oh my god.
Follow us on our audio platforms, leaving us a rating. That will help us a lot. Join our Discord in the description below. There will be a link, and I believe there will also be a Telegram chat link. So if you don't, Whiplash is going to probably say something very disturbing.
If you don't do any of those things, I'm gonna come to your house and sleep in your bed.
Okay, let me rephrase that real quick. I'm going to take back what I said. Let me take back what I said.
Don't threaten us with a good time. What are you doing?
Let me rephrase that. I'm going to rephrase what I said. I'm going back to what I just said previously about the links. So there is going to be a link tree, which has both our Telegram and our Discord servers. It has all the information you need about us, about our top dogs. So Discord, Telegram, click on that. Yeah, click on the link tree, and it will have all that information for you.
Yeah, there's also on the link tree, you'll find links if you want to post your question, your answers to the question of the week, and where you can submit your fan art, which we will put on the back behind us, me and Fiction. Right here. It's beautiful. We got some lovely fans out there. Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Yes, you do.
If anybody, I would love anybody. Let me ask you something. If anybody can make just a single art piece of just Whiplash saying "water," like he's an otter. Water.
Probably Edward will do.
Making fun of his Dutch accent.
Just because I'm Dutch. Water.
I would love that art piece.
Oh
Same thing.
Water.
Water.
Would you like to buy a bottle of water? Sorry.
I do. I drink water every day.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what do you like the most about VR or VR technology, Blue?
Or like that it connects people.
Oh yeah,
I would not have the friends I know now if I didn't have VR. So I'm like really grateful for it.
Oh yeah, that's true. I would
none of this
say
would be happening if none of us had VR. So I mean
that is also true. I would say the coolest thing, in my opinion, about it is pretty much what you said earlier, but the cool thing is it was a great way for us to connect with everybody when COVID-19 was at its peak, and we couldn't really do anything. And a lot of our furry fandom migrated to VRChat because of it, because we couldn't go to cons at the time. So that is also a huge benefit, and ever since then, furries have not looked back on this VR experience, and they still use it today as a way to communicate with their friends when they don't necessarily want to go to their DMs and send something a little sussy.
Yeah, and it's fun because now the cons they have those VR portals, so people that are in VR can meet people in the cons and vice versa. That's been pretty cool as well.
Yes.
Just be sussy in VR. That's all you gotta do now.
Oh, you can be whatever you like in VR.
To be fair,
the fun
those
thing.
Just be safe.
Those VR
Yes,
portals are fun, honestly. Yeah, please be safe if you do anything sussy in VR, please. But yeah, the VR portals at cons is great because at FWA, I know you were there, and we'd go to the portals and just like wave to people who are in the worlds, and like the same thing with BLFC. I know Megaplex. I think they do it for all the cons now.
Not all,
really-
I don't think.
I like the memes.
At least the bigger ones.
I've been seeing the
No, I'm
memes
a
on
fan
Twitter.
one.
Like, hey guys, this is my new fursuit, and they would just put their VR gear and they would take pictures and put it on Twitter. I remember that.
Ooh,
That's
you're
a
gonna
good,
put them
that's a
in
good
Bev.
content.
We should
All
definitely
right.
go to that portal.
Ooh, here's a good question, but I don't know if I can answer this one. So you guys are on your own in this. If you could design the ultimate VR headset, what would it look like?
A banana.
A banana? A banana virtual headset? You would have a custom-made virtual reality headset that looked like a banana?
I would.
Okay, I changed my mind about Whiplash saying water. Someone just draw his character having a banana VR headset custom made.
What the? The banana? Serious?
No, not like an actual banana. It's like one that's kind of like shaped like one.
A custom made banana VR headset.
I would. I mean, why not? They already look like a banana. They curb. They curb.
You're not wearing the right headset.
Oh my.
Banana.
I mean, I have like to me like the way where the heat, the exhaust from anything inside the valve index is expelled from the front end. To me, I like that idea because you don't get hot and it goes out forward. So
I don't have that heating issue with the Vive Pro. That's one con. One pros I didn't mention. I don't need fans on my headset. But everybody I know
don't
that
get hot
have
on my
Valve Index
headset.
like this thing freaking overheats, man. It gets warm and foggy. I don't have those issues.
I don't
to
have
be
that
fair, if you
issue.
keep that
Completely forgot about that.
I mean, since I have this fan on the front of my index, it doesn't like get hot at all, honestly. But if you keep that shield on, like I don't know what that shield is for, honestly. Like I guess it's to protect like the casing of the index.
I
But
was thinking it was protecting the ports.
I mean, there's only it could be, but
Cosmetic.
there's only like the sensors are in front of the shield, so like they're right here, and the cover goes like I think just right above it, so it really doesn't cover
Yes.
the sensors up. So, I mean, I guess then just look like I guess still using just like a normal virtual goggle. Is there anything for it? Like, is there any purpose for the shades, as they call them?
I don't know. But you know what?
I thought it was an
I think-
aesthetic thing.
You know
It
what?
could
if I
be.
was to have a custom virtual headset, since you mentioned a banana, I would make mine look like Google glasses.
Oh God.
I would love to have something that would
Yikes.
fit inside ski glasses, have like at least 160 degrees field of view, 4K
Vive Flow.
resolution per eye, integrated eye tracking and facial tracking, wireless capabilities, and wireless autonomy for at least 3 hours. That would be
See-
my ultimate headset.
That's what I was
And
thinking.
great
too, like-
audio quality. Good audio. It's so important.
And like instead of like how does Vive have the facial tracking setup? Is it like a small little piece that just hangs down to watch your
Yeah,
mouth movement?
so my faceplate is like right. So my headset is here. I'm gonna be making weird faces, but the facial is gonna be a square that is gonna sit about like this in front of your mouth. It's a small square. It's about the size of a credit card. I don't have it on mine, but I was planning on doing it. But since I'm wireless, I can't. So this sucks. But honestly, you would see me smile like a goof all the time. Anyways, so it's pretty thin too. It's like a pack of gum, honestly. And it's
I mean,
just
that's cool.
like it glues on.
Yeah.
There's sticky pads and
I guess my idea would be like instead of like it being like a small little rectangle that sticks onto your index, it's just like maybe 3 or 4 sensors that sit below the headset itself, and they're face towards your mouth so they can watch every movement of it.
Yeah, that's what the Quest Pro 2 is doing. The camera is like it's slightly in front of the nose and looking down with a wide-angle lens.
Okay. All right. What do you see as the next step in VR technology? I would say getting rid of the tracking and let it just detect our bodies without the controllers. I would like that.
And getting
just have the
audio
headset.
latency, taking away audio latency.
So the audio latency is not caused by the headset. That's the platform we're using. Our avatar uses
VRChat.
Visemes, so it takes a few milliseconds to process the Viseme and map them to a face. Then we're going back to a server, then coming back. That's internet and game optimization issues. It's not created by the headset.
Oh well, we just need better internet then because AT&T sucks.
All right, what about you,
faster
Blue?
network service for VRChat, which are the platform we're recording on.
What do you see the next step in VR technology?
I wanna. Well, since it already exists, but I want it to be mainstream. I want to say visuals. Like I want to actually feel like I am there, and for me, that's visually. It's not by touching things. I want to feel like I'm actually in a world where I can actually look around. You know.
Okay.
Like you know,
I mean,
you know what would be cool? It's just like a sphere you walk into, and then it gets like view projecting from all around. You would lose the 3D, but you would be like immersed, and you could just like walk inside that ball. And it will simulate walking, and that ball has momentum, like the body when it moves. So when you would have to slow down, the ball has momentum, so you kind of have to kind of slow yourself down, which is the issue they're struggling with omnidirectional treadmills. Treadmill is like there's no momentum, there's no inertia. You stop on place because your body is not actually moving forward, gathering velocity and speed. So being inside a sphere would probably be something really cool. I think the next step in VR technology for me would be omnidirectional treadmill, or be able to treadmill or something to be able to walk physically without using thumbsticks.
Okay.
That'd be true.
yeah.
Well, that wouldn't be that bad. Well, I would say
It
that
is a hard
concludes.
challenge.
I said that concludes today's episode. We'll see you guys next week on the next episode. You guys have a wonderful night and stay safe. See ya.
Good night, everyone.
Whee!
Take care.
You're a good boy.
Ah.
Thank you for coming over, Blue. You did
By the way-
very well. You did well.
Hey, Colton.
I had to be
This
sensual.
is my episode now.
you have to take
pictures, though.
requesting off of me.
Okay.
You have to take
Oh.
pictures.
You want to invite him in
Stay
here?
here.
Okay.
He's been in here before.
I mean, if he wants to.
Yeah.
Huh?
I can't invite him in here, can I?
Yes, you can. It's Friends Plus.
Oh, okay.
Who?
I haven't seen that. Dexter Dingo. He requested off of me.
Oh, I haven't seen Dexter in a hot minute. At least in VR.
He's been
Haven't
busy
seen
with
him in a
work.
while.
He had a job.
He's
that was
allowed in
def-
here?
He's
Unacceptable.
been in here before.
And he's got his new fursuit, which
Who?
I like his new fursuit.
Oh, I like this maker. Like, if I would get myself a new fursuit, probably that person.
Actually, me too.
I like the
honestly.
aggressive look at it.
Like, I'd probably
I
get
think
not a 3.0 suit, but just a 3.0 head. Because, I mean,
I
two
think
of them are already
it's
good.
Japanese-based maker. I think it's very like anime style,
And I like it.
anime character. I really like it.